Every masterpiece ever created began with a single thought: I can. Every empire, every invention, every triumph of the human spirit was first built in the invisible realm of belief. Confidence, my friend, is not found in the applause of others. It is born in the quiet chambers of your own mind. It begins when you decide to love yourself enough to believe that you are capable of achieving greatness. But here's the truth that most people never understand. No one can give you confidence. Not your parents, not your partner, not society. You can borrow encouragement for a moment, but true power, lasting power, comes only when you recognize your worth. Self-love is not vanity. It is the foundation of personal mastery. It's the voice that whispers, even when the world screams doubt, I am worthy. I am capable. I am enough. When you love yourself, something remarkable happens. You stop negotiating with fear. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into the comfort zones of others. Instead, you stand tall in the presence of your own purpose. Think of the people who changed history, men and women who dared to stand alone when everyone else was silent. What separated them from the crowd was not luck, not privilege, not even talent. It was self-belief rooted in deep self-love. They understood this. If you do not believe in yourself first, the world never will. Confidence begins when you give yourself permission to be the author of your life. Most people hand over their pen to society. They let opinions, fear, and failure write their story. But the one who loves themselves takes the pen back. They say, I decide who I am, and I decide what I will become. That is where true power is born, in the soil of self-acceptance. Because when you accept yourself fully, the storms of life cannot uproot you. The criticism of others cannot bend you. You become grounded, stable, unshakable. And here's another truth. Loving yourself does not mean you think you're perfect. It means you embrace your imperfections without letting them define you. You recognize that flaws are not failures. They are the fingerprints of your humanity. You see, real self-love is not about looking in the mirror and admiring what you already are. It's about believing in what you are yet to become. It's about saying, I may not be there yet, but I am on my way, and I am worthy of the journey. When you truly love yourself, you unlock courage. You stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. You stop seeking permission to chase your dreams. You act, you move, you build, because you understand that hesitation is the language of self-doubt, and you no longer speak that language. Confidence is not a gift, it is a decision. Every day you wake up, you are given two choices: to live from fear or to live from faith in yourself. And every day that you choose self-love, you strengthen the muscle of confidence. Remember this, the world mirrors your internal belief. If you see yourself as powerful, the world will respond with opportunities that match your belief. But if you see yourself as small, the world will confirm it by closing doors. So, guard your mind, protect your thoughts, feed your spirit with words that build you, not break you. Because the most dangerous enemy you will ever face is not outside of you. It's the voice within that tells you, you can't. Silence that voice with love. Replace it with conviction. Speak to yourself the way a warrior speaks before battle. Tell yourself every morning, I am strong, I am capable, I am destined. Because when you learn to love yourself, truly love yourself, confidence no longer becomes something you chase. It becomes something you embody. And once you embody it, there is nothing in this world you cannot create, achieve, or become. There is a battle that every human being must fight, not against the world, not against enemies, but against the silent whisper of doubt that lives within. Doubt is the thief of dreams, the destroyer of courage, and the silent assassin of destiny. And the only shield strong enough to defeat it is self-love. You see, the world will test you. It will challenge your worth, mock your ambition, and question your dreams. There will be times when your best will not be enough for others. Times when rejection, criticism, and betrayal will shake your confidence. But if you love yourself deeply, no storm can uproot your spirit. Self-love builds an armor that no insult can pierce. It teaches you to stand tall when others try to make you feel small. It gives you an inner fortress so strong that even when the world doubts you, you remain unbroken. When you love yourself, failure becomes a teacher, not a punishment. Rejection becomes redirection. Criticism becomes fuel. You begin to understand that people's opinions of you are reflections of their limitations, not yours. And so you remain calm, steady, and focused no matter who misunderstands your purpose. Think about it. Every great individual who changed the course of history faced opposition. But what made them unshakable was not approval from the world. It was unwavering belief in their mission and love for who they were becoming. When you love yourself, you no longer beg the world to see your worth. You show it through your persistence. You stop arguing for your limitations and start proving your possibilities. Doubt has a simple strategy. It whispers that you are not enough. It tells you to compare, to hesitate, to shrink. And the moment you listen, you surrender your power. But when love lives in your heart, doubt loses its voice. You see yourself as worthy of trying, worthy of failing, worthy of beginning again. That's the miracle of self-love. It transforms you from fragile to fearless. The one who loves themselves doesn't fear losing because they already possess something greater. The unshakable belief that they can rise again. They don't seek validation because their purpose validates itself. They don't chase approval because they already walk with self-approval. Love yourself enough to protect your peace from the noise of others. Love yourself enough to walk away from anything that poisons your self-respect. Love yourself enough to trust your own timing, even when the world rushes you. Remember this, no one can give you certainty, no one can hand you courage, no one can guarantee success. These are born from within, and they grow stronger only when watered by self-love. You must become your own protector. The world will test your limits, but you decide if it breaks you or builds you. When you have learned to love yourself deeply, you stop seeing obstacles as threats. You see them as invitations to grow. Every challenge becomes proof of your strength. Every delay becomes training for your destiny. That is the secret of the invincible soul. It turns pain into power through love. The person who loves themselves will always rise because their value is not tied to external validation. It's anchored in internal certainty. And here's the great paradox. The moment you stop depending on others to make you feel worthy, the world begins to respect you more. Confidence attracts trust. Self-respect commands recognition. So, when doubt visits your mind, stand tall and remind yourself, I am not who the world says I am. I am who I decide to be. Look at yourself in the mirror and say it until your soul believes it. I am my own protector, my own believer, my own source of strength. Because once you reach that point, no opinion can shake you, no failure can define you, and no rejection can end you. Love yourself enough to silence doubt forever, and you will walk through life with the calm power of someone who knows. The only approval I'll ever need is my own. There is an invisible law that governs every part of your life. It determines the quality of your relationships, the success of your career, the opportunities that find you, and even the peace that lives within you. This law is simple, yet profound. You receive from the world exactly what you radiate from within. If you radiate self-doubt, you attract situations that confirm it. If you radiate fear, you invite uncertainty. But if you radiate self-love, confidence, and belief, The universe mirrors those vibrations back to you in abundance. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. The people you meet, the chances you get, the respect you earn, all of it begins with how you see yourself. When you love yourself, your energy changes. You stop carrying desperation and start carrying certainty. You stop seeking love and start radiating it. You stop chasing opportunity and begin attracting it naturally. Have you ever noticed that confident people seem to get lucky? That opportunities seem to find them with little effort. It's not luck, it's energy. Their self-love sends a signal that says, I am ready, I am worthy, I am capable. And life responds accordingly. The world does not give you what you want. It gives you what you believe you deserve. When you truly understand this, everything changes. You no longer chase love that doesn't value you. You no longer accept jobs that drain you. You no longer tolerate relationships that disrespect you. Why? Because you finally know your worth, and your worth sets the standard for how the world treats you. Loving yourself raises your frequency. And when your frequency rises, you attract people and situations that match that vibration. The insecure attract those who exploit them. The unhealed attract more pain. But the self-loving attract abundance, respect, loyalty, and peace. So if you ever wonder why certain patterns repeat in your life, look inward. The answer is never out there. It's always in what you believe about yourself. You are a magnet, constantly pulling toward you experiences that align with your self-image. If that image is built on doubt, you'll live small. But if that image is built on love, belief, and strength, your life will expand beyond measure. This is why self-love is not a luxury, it's a law of attraction in motion. It determines the people you meet, the love you receive, the chances you get, and the destiny you live. The secret to changing your life isn't in chasing more, it's in becoming more. When you evolve internally, everything external evolves with you. If you love yourself, you'll set higher boundaries. You'll no longer settle for almost. You'll stop saying yes when your heart screams no. You'll surround yourself with energy that uplifts you, not drains you. Loving yourself teaches others how to treat you. You become the example, the standard, the signal that says, this is the level of respect and love I expect because this is the level I give myself. The universe, my friend, does not respond to your words. It responds to your vibration. So, if you speak of confidence but radiate insecurity, life will answer your energy, not your voice. But if you live in a state of deep self-love, of gratitude, of inner faith, everything you desire begins to find its way to you. There is no force more magnetic than a person who knows their worth. They don't chase, they attract. They don't beg, they command. They don't wait, they act from a place of inner fullness, not emptiness. And that is the beauty of the law of reflection. When you fill yourself with love, the world becomes a mirror of that love. People smile more, opportunities expand, life flows effortlessly, because the energy you send out is the energy you live in. So, if you want the world to respect you, respect yourself. If you want love that lasts, love yourself first. If you want success that fulfills, believe you deserve it. The universe is always listening. But before it can give you more, it must first see what you give yourself. Love yourself deeply, fully, and unapologetically, and watch how the world transforms to match your reflection. Most people think love is soft, gentle, and emotional. They believe it's about comfort, indulgence, or pleasure. But real love, the kind that transforms your life, is not comfort. It is discipline. Because to love yourself truly is to care about your future more than your momentary pleasure. It is to protect your destiny from the destruction of laziness, procrastination, and excuses. Self-love is not just saying, I am enough. It's saying, I respect myself too much to waste my potential. When you truly love yourself, you begin to act differently. You wake up earlier. You train your mind to focus. You nourish your body instead of poisoning it. You speak words that build rather than break. You stop living in reaction and start living with intention. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you are practicing the highest form of self-love. Because discipline says, I believe my future deserves effort today. The undisciplined person chases comfort now and pays the price later. The disciplined person pays the price now and collects the reward later. The difference between success and regret is measured in how much you loved yourself when no one was watching. You see, self-love is not about how you feel about yourself. It's about what you're willing to do for yourself. Do you care enough to change your habits? Do you respect yourself enough to keep your promises? Do you love yourself enough to build a life that matches your potential? Every act of discipline is an act of devotion to your best self. When you choose to work on your dreams instead of wasting hours on distractions, that is love. When you walk away from toxic relationships that drain your energy, that is love. When you push through your doubts, show up for yourself, and keep going even when it's hard, that is love. Because love without responsibility is weakness. But love with discipline is power. Discipline is not punishment. It is the expression of deep self-respect. It says, I am worthy of consistency. I am worthy of progress. I am worthy of greatness. The world is full of people who talk about their dreams, but few who love themselves enough to pursue them daily. The successful are not more gifted, they are more disciplined. They simply decided to honor themselves by living according to their highest potential. When you love yourself, you stop needing motivation. You move from emotion to commitment. You no longer wait to feel ready. You act because you've decided that your destiny deserves discipline. The truth is, most people lose themselves not because they lack talent, but because they lack structure. They drift from day to day, wishing, hoping, waiting. But the one who loves themselves enough to live with discipline, they rise. They evolve. They win. Discipline creates trust between you and yourself. It's the proof that your words mean something. Every time you say you'll do something and actually do it, you build inner power. That power becomes confidence. That confidence becomes momentum. And that momentum becomes greatness. So ask yourself, if you loved yourself like someone you were responsible for saving, how would you act? Would you feed your mind with negativity? Would you waste your time on things that steal your peace? Or would you train, plan, learn, and grow? The answer defines your future. Because the truth is this, you will never rise above the standards you set for yourself. And those standards are born from love. Love disciplined enough to do what's necessary, not just what's easy. So wake up early. Do the work. Keep your word. Push your limits. Not because someone told you to, but because you love yourself enough to refuse mediocrity. Discipline is the purest form of self-love because it says to the universe, I am ready for everything I am meant to become. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must decide, who am I living for? For the approval of others, for the expectations of society, or for the truth of who I am meant to become. That decision, that inner awakening, marks the beginning of self-love in its highest form. And once you walk that path, you discover the greatest secret of all loving yourself is not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of your power. Because once you truly love yourself, you stop living small. You stop shrinking your dreams to fit into other people's comfort zones. You stop apologizing for your greatness, your ambition, your uniqueness. The person who loves themselves does not ask for permission to rise. They rise because they know their purpose was written in their very soul. Self-love is not a mirror for vanity. It is the mirror through which you finally see your true potential. It is the moment when you stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start declaring, "I was born for this." When you love yourself deeply, you begin to see that the opinions of others are just noise, echoes of fear from those who never dared to be themselves. You stop measuring your worth through someone else's lens, and you begin to trust the quiet authority of your own heart. That is where power is born, not in control over others, but in mastery over yourself, your mind, your emotions, your habits, your destiny. The one who loves themselves cannot be manipulated by flattery or destroyed by criticism. They walk through chaos with calm, through doubt with faith, through struggle with grace, because their peace no longer depends on the world. Every great leader, every visionary, every soul who changed the course of humanity began by mastering themselves. And self-mastery begins with self-love, the kind that demands growth, the kind that forgives failure, the kind that believes in the infinite worth within. When you love yourself, you begin to align with your higher self, that version of you that is wise, powerful, fearless, and free. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. You no longer drift, you design. You realize that every obstacle was not meant to break you, but to show you the depth of your strength. Every heartbreak was not punishment, but preparation, teaching you that your peace should never depend on another person's presence. Loving yourself is not selfish, it's sacred, because when your cup is full, you overflow into the lives of others. You become more giving, more patient, more compassionate, not from weakness, but from abundance. The most powerful people are not the ones who control others, they are the ones who have learned to control themselves. They know who they are, they know what they stand for, and they refuse to compromise their peace for temporary approval. That is real freedom, the freedom to live aligned with your truth, to walk in your purpose, and to face every challenge knowing that you already have everything you need within you. When you love yourself, fear loses its power. Failure becomes feedback, and life becomes a canvas for your greatness. You stop chasing the world, and the world begins to chase you. Opportunities flow, energy rises, confidence expands, because the universe recognizes a soul that has come home to itself. So love yourself more than anyone else, not because you're above others, but because you must first become whole to lift others higher. Remember, the relationship you have with yourself sets the tone for every relationship you will ever have, with people, with success, with life itself. Your journey toward greatness begins and ends with one truth. When you fall in love with yourself, you awaken the power to create any future you desire. And from that moment on, you will no longer live in search of love, purpose, or strength, because you will become all three. My friends, we have traveled together through 5 great truths, 5 keys that open the door to your highest self. We began with confidence, the seed that is planted when you first decide to believe in your own worth. We learned that every empire, every success story begins within the mind of a person who dares to say, "I am enough." We discovered that self-love is the shield against doubt, the armor that protects you when the world challenges your worth. Because when you love yourself, no insult can wound you, and no failure can destroy you. You stand unbroken in your truth. We spoke of the law of reflection, that eternal principle which says the world mirrors your self-image. You receive what you radiate. If you wish for love, radiate it. If you seek respect, command it through self-respect. The universe responds to the energy you become. Then we revealed that discipline is the highest form of self-love, because real love isn't indulgence, it's commitment. To love yourself is to do what your future self will thank you for. It's to work, to grow, to rise even when comfort calls your name. And finally, we reached the truth that the journey of self-love is the gateway to power. For once you love yourself completely, fear loses its grip. You stop asking for permission to live your purpose. You stop chasing love, because you have become the very source of it. Now, let me ask you, how long will you wait to become your own best friend? How long will you look to others for the love that already lives inside you? The truth is this: no one is coming to rescue you. No one will give you permission to be great. No one can fill you with the love you refuse to give yourself. But the moment you decide, truly decide, to love yourself more than anyone else, everything changes. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will no longer beg the world for validation. You will validate yourself through action. You will no longer chase happiness. You will carry it within you like fire. When you love yourself, you stop living as a victim of life and start living as its creator. You realize that every thought, every choice, every word you speak is shaping your destiny. The person who loves themselves deeply becomes unstoppable, not because they are the strongest, not because they never fall, but because they rise every time. They rise with grace, they rise with purpose, and they rise knowing that their worth does not depend on circumstance. The world will always have opinions. People will always talk. But when you love yourself, their noise becomes background music to your melody of purpose. You stop fighting for attention and start building your vision. So stand before the mirror today and make a vow. I will love myself completely. I will believe in my dreams. I will honor my worth. I will no longer dim my light for anyone, because this is your time. This is your moment. This is the era of your awakening. The greatest relationship you will ever have, the one that will determine every joy, every success, every peace you'll ever feel, is the one you have with yourself. So love yourself more than anyone else, not from ego, but from truth. Because when you finally do, you will discover that you never needed the world to complete you. You only needed to remember who you truly are. And when you know that, you will never walk in fear again.